Hi people, Moin away from Bakir again as always, and as usual. I'm going to briefly be discussing a pagan god today called Zalmoxis. Now, before I continue, if you want more information on Zalmoxis, check any links in the description of this video and or wait until the end screen. Now, Zalmoxis, long story short, was a pagan deity that was, sorry, or a divine archetype that was well, divine by pagan standards, you know what I mean, that was worshipped by the Getae and the Dacians, people from the lower Danube. That's like where modern day Romania is, parts of Bulgaria, and so on. I'm gonna read briefly for the first paragraph of thingy. The first and second paragraph, or in any case, I'm gonna briefly read from a snippet of the Wikipedia section, and then so that you get a general idea of who this pagan god is if you're not familiar with him. Zalmoxis, also known as Zalmoxis or Zalmoxis, is a divinity of the Getae and the Dacians, a people of the lower Danube, mentioned by Herodotus in his histories book IV, between paragraph 93 and 96, written before 425 BC, said to have been so called from the bear skin in which he was clothed as soon as he was born. According to Jordanus Gericka, he was a learned philosopher before whom two other learned men existed by the names of Zura and Licinius. In modern times, theories and debate on Zalmoxis' religion by such scholars as Mircea Eliade or Mircea Eliade are influenced by considerations of Romanian nationalism as well by pure historical interest. So yeah, listen, the general gist of things is from a neutral perspective, because I also wasn't familiar with this god, but I think I briefly saw him a couple of months ago, and here I am recording this video, obviously. Long story short, Zalmoxis was worshipped by the ancient people of the aforementioned civilizations, if you will, the Dacians and the Getae. I think also Thracians as well, but I'm not entirely sure. And long story short, he was simply a pagan god, and he bears a striking similarity to Jesus. Well, not necessarily striking, but he bears some semblance to Jesus, if you will. And I'm not entirely sure if the Dacians, the Dacians were polytheistic or monotheistic. I think they were polytheistic. They had multiple gods, but he was their main god. Again, if I'm not mistaken, from all the information that I've seen and that I'm sharing with you guys, and just from a neutral perspective, so generally speaking, that's what I remember. And he was their philosopher and learning god, specifically relating to the afterlife and whatnot, and believing in eternal life, etc., etc. Again, you see where this is going. There is also like either a ritual or a rite of passage, or a part in his story, or his background related story, where he resided in a cave, or he went into a cave every year or 10 or something, and then he stayed there for 3 days, etc. Again, similar to the whole concept of Jesus' resurrection. That's why I said he bears somewhat of a similarity to Jesus, purely within the context of his profile description, or his personality based description. And let me see, what else can I say? And that's generally speaking it. Again, like I said, simply wait until the end screen if you want to learn more about the Dacians or Zalmoxis, and check the Wikipedia entry and whatnot linked in the description. Now let's get down to the occult information. Zalmoxis, from a neutral perspective, if you're a practitioner, you want to work with Zalmoxis or Zalmoxis, whatever. He is mercurial in nature. He corresponds to the zodiac sign Virgo. To the zodiac sign Virgo or Virgo, 20 degrees specifically, and he also has a hint of Venusianism, specifically the zodiac sign Libra. Now, what that means specifically is that Zalmoxis simply, in terms of what he can bestow upon you in the way of spiritual strength as an entity to work with, if you're into pagan gods and whatnot, is is just an overall good quality of life, honestly, and specifically focusing on physical well-being, physical health, and to bring out the best in you, essentially, in terms of day-to-day life, to be a craftsman or craftswoman, and to simply be the best man you can be, in a manner of speaking. Um, and the Venusian aspect of his Libra aspect, is that part of his personality simply sees to a considerable amount of determination, if you will. And last but not least, his appearance is that of a gray-haired man, that let's just say a gray-haired pagan tribesman, dressed in typical things that you would expect someone to wear in a relatively cold part of the world, um, in pre-Christian Europe or in ancient Europe, specifically where again near the Balkans or in the Balkans. And let me see, what else can I say? Think of clothes similar to what the Mongols wore. That's just an example as a figure of speech. And he, when I spoke to him, he had two appearances. The first one is as aforementioned, and the other one was of a fair man. I mean, a man that is so beautiful to the point where he briefly almost looks like a woman, but he doesn't. Just a very fair-haired man with hair coming like around his shoulders, chestnut hair, and the man in question is an archer, because he had a bow and arrows with him and whatnot, and a quiver. And he was dressed more or less like Robin Hood, essentially. So he looks like an ancient archer from the same aforementioned part of the world and whatnot, and so on and so forth. And as for, but the first form is, like I said, the first is like the first one I mentioned, the gray-haired looking warrior, with beard and everything. What I noticed regarding him when interacting with him is that he's a strong silent type, quite serious in nature, somewhat melancholic. Okay, with the second form, he does appear to loosen up, but only a little. But that's just normal. That's just in his nature, based on the information that I gave as well, based on his Virgo attributes and secondarily Libra attributes, based on his Mercurial attributes. He's more the stern, strong, silent type. It was purely only asking the necessary questions. I mean, only making necessary statements from him and whatnot. As in, yes, I am here, Zalmoxis. What would you like to know? I politely beseech from thee, or I request from thee, what would you like to know? Is there anything that you would like to know about me? And like that. And that's pretty much it. And that is it. And in a manner of speaking, he has an attitude along the lines of, I'm a busy man. You know, not literally, but in a manner of speaking. Let me see if there's anything else. No, that's all. Bye.